Ah, o cara já tá aqui, mano. Safadinho, cara. Ah, o cara tá derrubando. Ah, dei fogo amigo sem querer. Aí é foda, velho. Tu é doido, homem. Ah, mas tinha dois caras em cima do outro aí, pô. Não, aí tá errado, pô. Tu é doido, deu nem pra começar, homem, agora. Aí é ruim, Daniel. Ah, os caras estavam tudo junto ali como, mano? Isso aí tá errado, pô. Os caras tão jogando junto, é? Tu é doido, é? Ah, mas os caras tão jogando é junto, ó. Muito desse jeito aí é mole demais, meu rei. É mole, ó. Eu sinistro, não é mais não? Sinistro não é mais não, café? É, cadê este mapa, cara? Cai aqui nessa porra aqui. Tá o jogo mutou todo mundo de novo, foi? É doido. O jogo me mutou, mas aqui é a minha saideira, o jogo mutou, pô. Aí aqui logo e já era. Não acha a partida aqui, mano. É doido, não acha a partida não. Todo mundo mutado, café aí. Eu mutou nós. Nós dois, café, tá nós dois. Bugado, café, tá bugado o fone. Tá longe, mano. Logo café pra safe.
It's up on the blocks, up on the block, back in the building. Left, turn left, up there.
Pega aí o presente, café. Pega aí, pega aí. Pega aí, café. E ó. Pega aí, ó. Pubg tá chegando no nível, eu tava falando dos meninos que aí, tá dizendo que o Pubg tá chegando no nível baixo. Os caras estão falando até que não dá meia do cara, que não tem nada a ver com a história. Falei aqui, mano. A galera devia ter acabou de falar que eu falei isso aí também, né? A galera tá chegando no nível baixo demais no Pubg, mano. Olha, até na meia do cara. Então até o nome da mulher do cara. Aí eu tava dizendo aí, deve ser uma pessoa que não conhece bem isso, pois nem eu, que nós estamos com quase 5 anos que joga junto, eu não sabia o nome da tua esposa, nem eu. E essa pessoa sabe, tá entendendo? Eu tiro, pô, aí criou outra conta, mano. Eu tiro e criou outra conta, pô. Eu, mano, tava com um bocado de tempo aí. Aí tava pegando pesado aí, eu tava só na minha aqui, dizendo, ele tava dizendo, depois ele vai dizer que a culpa é minha, de armilhar tá fazendo isso aí. Tava dizendo na live aqui, se tu voltar lá e assistir, tu vai ver. Eu tava dizendo. Aí as negadas ficam com isso aí, mano, depois aí mandar mensagem pra mim no WhatsApp dizendo que a culpa é minha. Tava dizendo. Eu tava falando isso aqui, às vezes é teus amigos mesmo, pô, que cria. Esses caras amigos teus aí que gostam de criar conta pra ver o que é que a gente diz. Tá entendendo? Pra ver o que é que a gente diz, pra poder falar pra tu lá. A gente tava falando mal, é só isso, mano. Às vezes é só isso, pô. Os teus parceiros mesmo que gostam de criar conta pra isso aí. Aí cria pra ver o que é que a gente diz, pra poder começar a confusão, mano. É só isso aí que acontece. Aí se o cara diz alguma coisa pesada pra poder mandar mostrar pra tu lá. Só isso. Eu vi aí as mensagens, eu tava só na minha, não tava falando nada. Não falei nada de você, não falei, a única coisa que eu falei foi isso. Os caras estão criando isso aí da sua esposa, nem eu sei o nome da sua esposa. Pra poder ver se eu falar alguma coisa e começar uma confusão contigo de novo. Mas tá tudo calmo, os caras não querem ver nada calmo. Tá entendendo? Aí os caras criam, mano. Eu falei, no começo da live eu falei, ó. Os caras ficam com essa onda aí, ele vai pensar que é eu, tá vindo o carro. Os caras ficam com isso aí depois vai mandar mensagem pra mim dizendo que é eu. Falei, pô. Eu não acerto também não, isso aí, pô. Ah, não, velho. Cara que te conhece muito bem, mano. Mas sabe o nome da tua esposa? Um parceiro teu aí. Nem eu sabia, tá? Jogando um capa de anos junto aí, eu não sabia. Ah, o bichão não toma capa não, né? Ali é um imortal.
puta, mano. Caralho, mano, ajuda, caralho. Filha da puta, mano.
Ah, mano, aí é foda, velho. Os caras estavam no estande do gás 5, porra. No estande eu vi os caras jogando. Os caras de boa saindo do gás 5, mano. Aí acontece um negócio. Como... Aí é putaria, pô. Esse jogo aqui ele trapaceia, velho. Nem como não trapacear. E é foda, tá escutando, café? Aí? Tá não, mano. Tá escutar não, pô. Já tá o menu aqui pra ver. Almoço, então. Ah, o café saiu, mano. Porra. Valeu, rapaziada. Obrigado pela presença aí, mano. Tamo junto. Obrigadão de coração. Isso aí é nóis. Fui. Pãozinho massa. Já vê isso. Ah não, mano, eu montei essa porra tudo aqui, né? Ah não, velho. Valeu, rapaziada. Obrigado pela presença aí, mano. Tamo junto. Eu tô fazendo aqui umas paradas, mano. Vendendo umas roupas aqui pra me comprar outras, tá ligado, papai? Ó, uma calça real dessa. Uma calça real dessa é feia demais, mano. Tá entendendo? A jaqueta aí tá massa, mas... Ó, a jaqueta real dessa eu não gosto aqui, ó. Também, ó. Não gosto. Tá entendendo? A roupa aí eu nem sei essa de branco aí. Tem um bocado de coelhinha aqui já. Não sei se eu jogo alguma dessas no mato. Essa do Natal também eu acho pai. Eu vou jogar esse Natal aqui. Ah, Natal é caro, não vou jogar não, mano. É doido, é? Vixe. Ah, tá aqui a arma vazando, não tava nem vendo. Vamos ver se eu tiro essa. Arma filha da peste. É doido. E aí, Daniel? Tô não, Daniel. Tô só recuperando umas coisas aqui, ó. De boa, mano. Pegando umas paradas aqui, mano. Eita, mano, tá vindo um bocado de arma épica aí, massa, ó. Vem aqui, ó. Ó, mano. Eita, porra. Valeu, rapaziada. No do Nordeste tá. Vai jogar só uma solo aqui, já que vocês estão assistindo. Vou jogar uma com aleatória aqui. Vou jogar uma com aleatório.
Nossa.
E aí, rapaziada, beleza? Vamos aí dar sequência de paca. Mal humor desse jogo. Jogar carta, caralho, tiguinho, filho da puta. É. Pinga aí, meus lindões. Ah não, o jogo tá mutado. Cara, agora que eu parei justamente por causa disso. Ô, jogo imundo. Tinha parado, já tinha me esquecido. Tinha parado porque o jogo tava mutado. Agora é a saideira mesmo, rapaziada. Saideira da parada. Bora. Bora que bora. O cara pisa do lado, tem a marca do outro e tal. O jogo tá mutado, rapaziada. Os aleatórios não conseguem me ouvir, beleza? Não sei nem o que eu faço aqui. Pra tu ver, eu tava jogando com o squad fechado, só tava caindo outro mapa, mano. Aí eu vou jogar com aleatório, só cai esse daqui, que é o mapa que eu gosto. É foda, mano. Pubg é um jogo que o cara não conhece não, pô. Mas quanto mais o cara quer uma coisa, aí que é contra. Se quiser jogar neste mapa, é só eu dizer que não quer, aí vem. cheio de bosta na gente.
Não sou eu que estou jogando, oh, Nhonhô. É um cara aleatório aqui que eu estou a jogar. Estou a esperar que ele me traga de volta ao jogo.
É só bot, é? Só acha bot uma hora dessa.
Obrigado por apareceres aí.
Ah, roda de ramo, tarde de ramo, deixa de furar.
Caralho, vai caralho.
Tarde de ramo, vou roubar o jogo agora que é pra outra arma. Ah lá, não jogou o ramo pra mim, não achei a unha.
Gajo horrível. Ele joga sozinho.
Oi. Boladão já levou um ali.
Ai, caralho.
Boladão já levou um bote. Dance potranca, dance com emoção. Eu sou o Jonathan da nova geração. Também jogaram uma bicha aqui, foi? Pinga, parceiro, pinga.
Jogar sozinho que é melhor. Se eu gosto, mano.
Aleatório é um rumo de bosta. Noventa e nove de dano no cara, eu dei, o cara não cai. Ah, onde é que existe isso aí? O cara tomar 99 de dano. O cara de 1% de dano eu não bateu o cara. Só no Pubg mesmo, viu? Tu é doido, ó. E agora tem que se fuder mesmo. Engraçado que o mapa do vulcão, mas não cai uma vez, mano, no mapa do vulcão. Tu é doido, ó. Bora, bora. Bora, rapaziada. Pula. Boa. Eita, mano.
Se tem um capacete ali, como é que eu vou buscar aquela merda? Pronto. Mano, é sério, mano. Olha. Eu acho que eu tava jogando em Pubg. Power plan. This is how pros optimize Windows to improve gaming performance and reduce input delay. And yes, this optimization guide will benefit any PC or laptop. So if it does help out, please consider liking. And though I doubt you'll need it, it's better to be safer than sorry. For most people around restore point, liking and subscribing. Now to begin, it's always a good idea to have a restore point. Even though I doubt you'll need it, it's better to be safer than sorry. For most people, around 10 gigabytes should be more than enough. After that, it'll create one in case you do need to roll back for any reason. Now you can head into the settings, into privacy and security, Windows security, device security. Under core isolation details, you will find security, Windows security, device security. Under core isolation details, you will find memory integrity, which I like. Device security. Under core isolation details, you will find memory integrity, which I like to disable. Security. Under core isolation details, you will find memory integrity, which I like to disable. Now yes, this is a security feature, however it is very CPU heavy, so if you do disable it you will get more FPS. However, if you are paranoid, you can just keep it on if you like. If you're careful about what you download, you should be fine, but at least while gaming you should have this off. Also inside threat protection, I like to go ahead and disable periodic scanning, as this can actually occur when you're gaming, and as you can imagine, that can cause stutters. It's something you should be scanning manually, not automatically. automatically. After that, I go into general and I deselect all of these, and then I like to disable this one right. After protection, I like to go ahead and disable periodic scanning, as you should have this off. Also inside threat protection, I like download, you should be fine, but at least while gaming you should have this off. Also inside threat protection, I like to go ahead and disable periodic scanning, as this can actually occur when you're gaming, and as you can imagine, that can cause stutters. It's something you should be scanning manually, not automatically. After that, I go into general and I deselect all of these, and then I like to disable this one right here. Next, we've got general and I deselect all of these, and then I like to disable this one right here. Next, go into general and I deselect all of these, and then I like to disable this one right here. Yeah. Next, we've got accessibility in the visual effects, where you can turn off the transparency effects, and as you can imagine, it turns off those translucent effects, which could give you a slight FPS boost. There's also animation effects as well if you don't want those. From there, open up the run box and type in system properties performance.exe. And this will From there, open up the run box and type in system properties performance. This will open up the visual effects tab. If you click on just for best performance, you'll notice it unchecks all the settings. But what we need to do is tick these 5 essential ones. Now to get the bit out. down windows, it's just more stripped down without all the fancy animations and stuff like that. Next, in display, make sure scaling is at 100%, then head into advanced settings, where you should then make sure you're using the highest refresh rate possible, so the one at the top. I also recommend that you go into your monitor settings and see if there's an overclock option. With mine, luckily there is, to advanced settings, where you should then make sure you're using the highest refresh rate possible, so the one at the top. I also recommend that you go into your monitor settings and see if there's an overclock option. With mine, luckily there is, and it goes all the way up to 280 Hz. In addition to that, you may have another setting called response time or overdrive, where I recommend you also set that to the highest one possible. When doing this though, I think it's a great idea to use the Blurbuster's UFO test to see if there's any sort of overshooting or ghosting. If you do notice any, you can simply reduce the setting. Back in display, if you scroll down to where it says graphics, change default graphics settings. If you see this setting called hardware accelerate, where it says graphics, change default graphics settings. If you see this setting called hardware accelerated GPU scheduling, you want to turn it on to reduce system latency and improve performance. And then if you play full screen windowed mode like Peterbot does, you want to make sure you enable optimizations for windowed games, as this will reduce latency once you do restart your PC. Oh, and if you click on browse here and find the client itself, this is the name of it, you'll see that it's on the list. If you click options and select high performance, this will once you do restart your PC. Oh, and if you click on browse here and find this will reduce latency once you do restart your PC. Oh, and if you click on browse here and find the client itself, this is the name of it. You'll see that it's on the list. If you click options and select high performance, This will prioritize your GPU over integrated graphics, which, as you can imagine, you want to do. If you scroll down slightly, you'll find audio. Just head into sound. Scroll down till you see more sound settings. A sound box will then appear down slightly, you'll find audio. Just head into sound, scroll down until you see more sound settings. A sound box will then appear. In communications, firstly make sure that this is set on do nothing. After, head back into playback. You should find your exact headphones with a little tick here. Just click on properties. Inside here, I go into level, make sure that this is set on do nothing. After, head back into playback. You should find your exact headphones with a little tick here. Just click on properties. Inside here, I go into levels, make sure this is at 100%. I then go into advanced and make sure this is at the best studio quality. So that right there is 480, but do make sure that both exclusive modes are ticked right here. I also don't recommend spatial sound. Going down from both exclusive modes are ticked right here. I also don't recommend spatial sound. Going down from there, you'll find mouse. Head into mouse pointer. I also don't recommend spatial sound. Going down from there, you'll find mouse. Head into mouse pointer, then mouse again. Additional mouse settings. Inside the mouse properties, go into point into mouse pointer, then mouse again. Recommend spatial sound. Going down from there, you'll find mouse. Head into mouse pointer. Then mouse again. Additional mouse settings. Inside the mouse properties, go into point options and please ensure that this option, enhance pointer precision, is turned off, as this will disable mouse acceleration, which you do not want to use. From there, you can go into your mouse's software and set up a high DPI. The reason why is because it has been proven to reduce pixel skipping and lower latency. However, it is still personal preference, so it is up to you. As for pollen rate, you've probably heard that it is great to use a higher pollen rate. The problem is though, if your pollen rate is too high, this can cause issues like FPS drops and stutters. So because of that, I don't recommend anything more than 2000 Hz. I do believe the most consistent one is 1000. It's what pretty much everyone uses, including the Pro Peterbot. Also, if you use a wireless mouse, which I'm assuming a lot of you do now, please do ensure that you have the dongle set up properly and it isn't too far from the mouse. You want to keep it as close as possible to reduce any sort of interference, which can in turn cause input delay. Try to avoid RGB effects on your mouse and keyboard, as that's also been proven to slightly drop your FPS. Next, you want to go into gaming under game bar. Make sure this is disabled. as I've heard that it can actually cause stutters. To stop it from popping up, just head into it, then in the settings at the top, to stop it from popping up, just head into it, then in the settings at the top, just uncheck this setting here.
Não tá em caralho, onde é que tá essa merda?
An optional thing that people do is to go into the PowerShell, run as admin, and paste in this command where it will get rid of it completely, although I don't really think it's that necessary. You've also got captures too. I like to go ahead and turn this off, and we've got game mode. It's not necessary. You've also got captures too. I like to go ahead and turn this off, and we've got game mode. This is something I really like and I do use now these days, as I feel like it does make my frame rate more stable. Inside the app section under installed app, you want to go through all of these and uninstall any that you don't use. So for example, Microsoft OneDrive, I do not use that. So it will be getting uninstalled. However, don't go too crazy with this. You only want to uninstall something that you know what it does. Like when it comes to these files right here, the Visual C++, you definitely don't want to get rid of these, as they'll have some sort of purpose with some software. Furthermore, if you do use an app but you don't want it running in the background, you can click on the three dots there, go into advanced options, and then you can basically stop this from running in the background via clicking on never, and this will also lower your overall process count. Oh, another thing in apps, if you go into startup, you can also go through this and turn off apps that you don't want starting with Windows. Again, don't go crazy, as for some stuff you should leave this on. From there, we're going to type in services, and basically what we're going to do in here is disable some of the services to lower our overall processes. Here is disable some of the services to lower our overall in services, and basically what we're going to do in here is disable some of the services to lower our overall processes in Windows. It'll basically be stuff that has no sort of use whatsoever and you will rarely use, like the wallet service right here. Now, if you do actually use this, you obviously don't want to do it, but if you literally just right click on it, go into its properties, then head into the startup type and disable it, that's literally all you need to do to disable a process/service. After that, a thing you can do is head into the task manager and look in performance. To your surprise, the uptime may be very, very high, like some of these examples are on screen, like some are just ridiculous. And this is because of a fast start feature. To fix this, head into power options, click change settings.
Caralho, mano. Filha da puta, não abro. Não.
That are unavailable, and simply uncheck this option. Now when you shut down your PC will fully shut down and the uptimer will be reset. Next, in the network settings, you want to click on advanced settings. Click on your main network adapter. So for my system, this would be my Ethernet connection. It should give you like a drop down. In here, you want to go into more adapter options. Then you want to make sure that the IPv4 box is ticked, and then you want to go into its properties, where you can now change your DNS server, which is something Epic Games actually recommend. Inside here, you can use the most popular one, which is Google's DNS. Games actually recommend properties, where you can now change your DNS server, which is something Epic Games actually recommend. Inside here, you can use the most popular one, which is Google's DNS server, or you can go with the second most popular one, which is Cloudflare's server. For myself, I ended up going with Google's one, which is 8888 and then 8844, because after I did test it via going into the CMD, then type in ping, followed by Google's primary DNS address. As you can see from the results, it turned out to be slightly faster than the other one, so that's what I ended up using. Additionally, after you to be slightly faster than the other one, so that's what I ended up using. Additionally, after you do this, you can try this process of flushing your DNS to improve connections to servers. After that, to further optimize your network, you can head back into the adapter options, but this time click on that configure button. We firstly want to go into power management and uncheck both of these power saving options right here. Make sure to actually uncheck the second one first, followed by the first one. And after you have unchecked both of those, you can go into advanced. Inside here, the following settings I am going to change can improve your throughput performance, but they are optional. If for some reason they do have a negative impact on you, you can just revert them back to default. I'm starting off with all the default settings. So for the first one here, that's the ARP offload, or rather all the offload settings. I like to go ahead and disable them. As for flow control, I know this does sound kinda like counterintuitive, but I've read that the TCP itself has its own built-in flow control mechanism. So what I like to do is go ahead and disable this setting. Scrolling down, we've got another offload setting. Like I mentioned before, I like to disable all of these. Jumbo packet. Ensure that's disabled. I believe it is by default. Under that, we've got some more offload settings I like to go ahead and disable. There's another one here, that's NS offload. Get that disabled. And scrolling down, we've got some more offload settings. Get all of these disabled like so. The last one right there. Disable that. And finally, for these wake on settings, I like to go ahead and disable all of these. But like I mentioned, guys, these are optional. If for some reason you do have like any sort of negative but like I mentioned, guys, these are optional. If for some reason you do have like any sort of negative effects, go ahead and set them back to default. It's that easy. Setting to prevent any distractions. You can then deselect all of these back to default. It's that easy to. If you do have like any sort of negative effects, go ahead and set them back to default. It's that easy to fix it. Next, in system, head into notifications. I recommend the do not disturb setting to prevent any distractions. You can then deselect all of these three settings. Then go to disturb setting to prevent any distractions. You can then deselect all of these. 3 settings. Then go into power. For most people, they keep this option on balanced, as it keeps your CPU clock speed at a normal base rate, and it is the best of both worlds really. However, you can go into the CMD and paste in this command right here, which will create a ultimate power plan. To enable that, you need to go into the edit power plan settings where you can actually select it. I only recommend the use of this power plan if you are gaming. If you're not gaming, you should use balanced. Next, inside the Windows updates, I do actually recommend keeping Windows semi up to date, but you need to do it when you want to. Don't let this automatically do it for you. That's why I like to pause my updates. I like to unselect this. I like to then go into advanced options, have all of these unselected, then go into delivery optimization and uncheck this one right here. For further general PC maintenance, you can go into disk cleaner, then select your drive. I usually like to tick every single box, like every the general PC maintenance, you can go into disk cleaner and select your drive. I usually like to tick every single box like every 2 weeks or something, and you can see how much space you can actually gain from doing this. But remember, when deleting stuff, you need to make sure you know what each one of these do, but you can just simply Google it to find out. While doing that, it's also not a bad idea to open up the run box and actually clear out your temporary files. There's 3 different ones you can do in total, but the main ones I focus on are temp and prefetch. Next, for the NVIDIA optimizations, just like the pros, it's really important to use the latest drivers. These days, you'll not really find much downside. In my experience, I've downloaded the latest driver within a week, and honestly, it's been really stable and I've had no issues. However, for a lot of people, when they're installing a fresh driver, they'll use this tool on screen. It's a free app that removes NVIDIA bloatware by allowing you to customize and select what driver components you want installed, removing certain bloatware like this on screen. Another thing I've seen more and more pro players do is use the NVIDIA overclock tool. To try it for yourself, you need to get the NVIDIA app, then just follow these steps which are on screen right now. That'll then initiate the latest update to download and install, where you'll notice a new section called System. Inside there, under the Performance section, you'll notice a new automatic overclock feature that allows you to overclock your GPU in one single click, which NVIDIA state that once you do enable it, they'll perform a scan to test your graphics card's capabilities over the course of 10 to 20 minutes. They recommend that you leave your PC idle while this is performed. Then, once the scan has finished and your GPU has been overclocked, you can expect similar results to this on screen, where you can see you'll get improved clock speeds and in turn higher FPS. With minimal risk too, as NVIDIA state that automatic tuning won't damage your GPU, nor will it void your warranty. The worst thing that can happen really is your PC becoming unstable, which if it does, you can simply deactivate the overclock by literally just unselecting it and it'll go back to normal. Next, you want to head into the NVIDIA control panel, go into Manage 3D Settings, and you want to copy all of my settings that are set up in this video on screen in the Manage 3D section. Aside from that though, if you do then select your main gaming monitor, then select full screen and make sure a GPU is selected. With the highest refresh rate possible. Oh, another thing that pros tend to do is increase their digital vibrance. This makes the game colors pop a lot more, so they're a lot more like bright and just overall vibrant. Next is RAM overclock, which is actually called all different names by different manufacturers. It's essentially a really easy method to get the actual speeds advertised on your RAM, because by default these are not the actual speeds. So you need to then go into your BIOS and actually select the setting. You'll know if it's worked if you actually get the speeds you were supposed to get. To make sure that it's worked, you can go into your Windows settings and actually see your RAM details of the speed, and from there you should see that it's been boosted, and you can imagine that's great for performance. Next we have timer res, which you might have heard is this really old program that allows you to change the default Windows timer res, which in turn can slightly boost your FPS and lower your input delay. However, the results of this do seem to be dependent on what your system is, so it's one of them where you should try it for yourself. All you need to do is click on that maximum button and it'll change your timer res, but it can be annoying because you need to do this after every restart. If this does nothing for you, or if you do encounter any sort of issues, you can just simply delete it. And finally, I want to end this with a quick system check via going into the CMD, where you can paste in this command that I'll have in the description. And what this does is it checks your entire PC for incorrect, changed, or corrupt Windows files. And if any corruption does appear, for myself, as you can see, there's actually none, you can then paste in this command that I'll also have in the description. What this will do is it'll go through and actually find all the missing / incorrect corrupt Windows files and actually replace them for you. But there's no need to run that if no corruption has been detected. I was just using this as an example. Oh, another thing as well, after running those checks, I like to paste in this command, and it'll basically do a quick scan. And to make sure all the issues were fixed. If the video did help, please drop a like and subscribe for more. Also, please consider using my creator code in the item shop if you do buy that battle pass, as that would help me out a ton.
Pope Francis died from a cerebral stroke and subsequent irreversible heart failure, the Vatican has revealed. The pontiff had been hospitalized for weeks at the Gemelli Hospital in Rome earlier this year after suffering a bout of bronchitis and double pneumonia. He was discharged on March 23rd after the 38-day stay and was able to bless crowds of worshippers on Easter Sunday.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
But just hours later, Vatican officials announced the leader of the Catholic Church had passed away. The cerebral stroke led to a coma and irreversible heart failure, a death certificate released by the Vatican said. The pontiff decreed in his will that he will be buried in St. Mary Major Basilica in a simple underground tomb. Announcing the pontiff's death this morning, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, the Vatican Camerlengo, said in a statement, "At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and of his Church." Pope Francis's death has plunged 1.4 billion Catholics across the globe into mourning. It comes just hours after he met with US Vice President J.D. Vance to exchange Easter greetings at Casa Santa Marta in Vatican City. The Pope also appeared in front of thousands of people in St. Peter's Square, the globe into mourning. It comes just hours after he met with US Vice President J.D. Vance to exchange Easter greetings at Casa Santa Marta in Vatican City. The Pope also appeared in front of thousands of people in St. Peter's Square. The crowd shouted and cheered as a frail-looking Francis looped through the square in his open-topped Pope-mobile and then up and down the main avenue leading to it. He stopped occasionally to bless babies brought up to him just weeks after fighting for his life. Later, Francis appeared on the loggia balcony over the basilica entrance for more than 20 minutes and imparted the apostolic blessing in Latin.
Pope Francis has passed away, and now the Vatican is in a rush. Everything has to be perfectly coordinated, or things can get really chaotic or worse. The Vatican has centuries of experience and has seen worst-case scenarios. That's why it has precise protocols in place, verifying the Pope's passing, moving him to St. Peter's, organizing the conclave down to the day and hour. Time is of the essence. The first order of business before anything else is to confirm the Pope is actually dead. Vatican officials used to do this confirmation used to be in the room he died in, but it now takes place in his private chapel. There, Cardinal Camerlengo, the prelate in charge of the Holy See's property and revenue, takes the command of the Vatican between now and the election of a new pope. He will conduct what is known as the Silver Hammer Protocol. In the past, this meant tapping the deceased pontiff's head with a small silver hammer and calling out his baptismal name 3 times. The idea was quite simple. If you don't wake up when someone's hitting you on the head with a hammer, you're probably dead. The silver hammer was used at least until the early 20th century, with Leo XIII's death in 1903. It may have stayed in place as late as John XXIII's death 60 years later. But you might be relieved to know it hasn't been used on Pope Francis. The Camerlengo, currently Kevin Cardinal Farrell, still called out, "George, are you dead?" 3 times. George was obviously not answering, and so Cardinal Farrell responded, "I declare that His Holiness Pope Francis is truly dead." Just to make sure, the Camerlengo might continue with an instrument, not a hammer, but an electrocardiogram. That was how John Paul II's death was scientifically confirmed in 2005. With his death confirmed, Pope Francis's body was placed in an open coffin right away. Although this is a recent change, are you old enough to remember John Paul II's funeral? You would have seen his body. It was placed in an elevated bier called a canaletto, or deathbed. Pope Benedict XVI was placed on one too, but Pope Francis changed that idea in November of 2024. More on that soon. For now, the Camerlengo and his men immediately sealed the Apostolic Palace and began to take care of the Pope's property to secure it from theft. This tradition dates back to older times, when there was a much higher risk of someone stealing the deceased Pope's property than there is now. However, some items are purposefully destroyed to preserve the integrity of the Pope's office. The fisherman's ring would have been the first thing to go. As you can see, this was what it looked like before. Francis had a unique ring, as all popes did before him, and it was used to seal official documents. It might not seem like much now, but in old times, official seals were vital to confer authenticity on documents, and the tradition continues in the Vatican. Cardinal Farrell had Francis's ring destroyed to prevent forgeries. Until recently, the destruction came from the same silver hammer that used to tap dead popes on the head. Things might have changed now, though. When Benedict XVI abdicated in 2013, his ring wasn't smashed in, but cut up, conveniently in the pattern of a cross. Either way, Cardinal Farrell destroyed the ring in the presence of other high-ranking cardinals. It helps to have witnesses that can say this ring was indeed destroyed. Any documents sealed in that pattern from here on out are known forgeries. The lead seal of the Pope was also destroyed. All other property is donated, archived, or in extremely unusual cases, given to the Pope's heirs. After seeing to the security of the deceased's body and vital items, it's time for the Vatican to prepare for the public mourning period. But not all popes wanted to do this in the same way. Typically, the Pope's body is embalmed. The best modern example is John 23, who was embalmed with formalin, a solution of formaldehyde containing methanol. When his body was exhumed in 2001, it was remarkably well preserved. Then Cardinal Virgilio Noe said at the time that it looked like he had only died yesterday. Embalming is not necessary, though. John Paul II chose not to be embalmed. For Francis, it will depend on his personal preference. What will be necessary is the presence of the Swiss Guards, who will accompany the Pope on his final journey from the Apostolic Palace to St. Peter's Basilica. The Swiss Guards have been protecting the Pope since Julius II requested their presence in 1506. That doesn't stop in death. The Guards stand with their spikes and heavy armor, protecting the Pope's body all day and night. This devotion to duty was seen very recently when the Swiss Guards refused to leave Benedict XVI's side after the lights in St. Peter's were ordered to be turned off. They probably remembered 1527, when 147 Swiss Guards laid down their lives to protect Pope Clement VII from 20,000 attackers in the employment of Holy Roman Emperor Charles V. You can bet that they'll stay by Francis's side during these days too. But where exactly will he be? Until very recently, there were 3 different coffins used, ones of cypress, lead, and oak. But the famously modest Francis thought this was too extravagant, so his body was placed in a simple wooden coffin lined with zinc and will be displayed to the public in St. Peter's for 3 days. On day 4, the Pope will take his last journey to his burial place. Many of the popes are still buried in St. Peter's. There is a necropolis, a literal city of the dead beneath it. The Romans used to bury their dead in these necropoli outside the ancient city walls, since it was forbidden inside. Wouldn't you know that the modern site of St. Peter's lies directly over one of them? Most popes are buried in the Vatican's crypt, but Francis won't be. This is the Basilica of St. Mary Major. In December 2023, Francis announced that he had chosen it as his final resting place. While this is unusual, it's not unheard of. St. Mary Major is one of the 4 major papal basilicas and one of the 7 pilgrim churches of Rome. Francis has gone to it over 100 times since becoming pope. 6 of his predecessors are already buried there: Honorius III, Nicholas IV, Pius V, Sixtus V, Clement VIII, and Clement IX. Although it's not unprecedented, it is retro. Really retro. Clement IX was buried here in 1669, and no pope has followed him since until now. Although the details are naturally kept secret, the pope, even in death, will have more than the Swiss guards to protect him. High-tech surveillance systems keep the Vatican and all of its residents, including the deceased, safe. With Pope Francis set to be honored in the proper way, the Vatican will next turn to a much less certain thing: choosing his successor. A week after Pope Francis's death, the College of Cardinals will spend 3 days preparing for a conclave. The name implies secrecy, but that wasn't always the case. It came after an election that took 3 years. After Clement VI's death in 1268, the cardinals met in the remote village of Viterbo to choose his successor. It was a convenient place at less risk of disease. The villagers soon got mad, though. The process was taking too long. They had to resort to extreme measures to get the cardinals to make a decision, like giving them only bread and water, or even tearing the roof off their building so they had to deal with the elements. Just leave already. In the end, they chose Gregory X in September 1271, but there was a catch. He wasn't a cardinal. He wasn't even a priest. He was off on a crusade and took 8 months to get to the Vatican. Fortunately, things are a lot less troublesome now. Gregory institutionalized the tradition from Viterbo and ordered that the cardinals would get only one daily meal if a conclave lasted beyond 3 days. Secrecy also became a lot more important. The secret papal conclave was formally organized in 1274. Before then, the cardinals could talk about it to whoever they wanted. And Pope Pius X introduced a secret ballot in the early 20th century. The villagers wouldn't be able to tear the roof off the place today. The conclave area is sealed off. The cardinals are sealed off too. They aren't even allowed to watch the news, let alone talk to anyone on the phone or on a computer. And how about these? During the last conclave in 2013, the Vatican installed Faraday cages and vehicles equipped with jammers to prevent signals from getting through. There will probably be more jammers now to guard against the presence of intrusive drones. These measures might seem a little extreme, but they've worked well. So how long might we expect to wait to see the white smoke this time? The conclave to elect Pope Francis was remarkably fast, taking only a day from March 12th to March 13th. Benedict XVI's conclave in 2005 also only took a day, from April 18th to 19th. That doesn't mean there's only one round, though. A candidate will be elected if he gets a 2/3 majority from the College of Cardinals. Maybe that's not as hard as it was between 1268 and 1271, since the new pope will be one of them. Though there's not a requirement for it, the last pope not to come from the college was Urban VI in 1378. Though the cardinal electors are familiar with each other, there will still be plenty of black smoke like this. It took 5 ballots to elect Pope Francis. The 4 times before that, black smoke came out of the Vatican, signaling that there was no new pope yet. How does the black smoke get its color? It's usually made of tiny bits of carbon, while the white smoke that signals the arrival of a new pope is made of things like water vapor, fuel vapor, or mineral ash. But what happens before that white smoke comes out? The College of Cardinals will ask the winning candidate if he accepts his election. If yes, he will be asked to assume the papal name. Then the white smoke will go into the air. The newly elected pope will dress in the typical white vestments behind the scenes. Meanwhile, the senior cardinal deacon will appear on the balcony of St. Peter's, declaring, "We have a pope." Then the new pope will make his public debut on the balcony and address the crowd below. After the public address, the pope will go back inside and talk to the College of Cardinals, thanking it for its service and formally disbanding the conclave.
there's two.
The new pope will choose a date shortly after his election. This was once a solemn occasion with elaborate coronation rituals. That hasn't been the case in a while, though. Popes John Paul I, John Paul II, Benedict XVI, and Francis didn't want such pomp and decided on modest inauguration ceremonies instead. Do you think that will continue with the next pope, or might we see something grander? Bye for now.
From disabling memory integrity to using
Let's roll.
Kenan ne yapıyorsun lan?
Remove any doubts in your head.
Merhaba, iyi. Sen
Or
nasılsın?
them.
Sen nerelisin amına koyayım?
Ben amına sen koyun birincisi. Ben Zagreb'te. Karvaçya. Sen?
Modric'in de sen.
Ne diyorsun?
You're gonna wish they were never born.
Ben Ukrayna'dayım.
Eşi de bilmiyorum.
Ukrayna'yı biliyor musun?
Grenade out.
Evet. Hemen başı Azerbaycanlıyım. Ne daha böyle? Tek defü.
Just using the bomb.
Crazy boy. Sen Türk'sün.
We
Biz
took the piss
Azerbaycanlıyız.
out of them.
Azerbaycanlı.
Azerbaycanlı. Kimse Türkiye'de yaşamıyor ama herkes Türkçe biliyor.
Speak English.
Evet.
Gay, speak English. Turkish gay.
I don't speak English, okay?
Sakçılı.
Come on, chop chop. Throwing flashbang. Throwing a grenade. There you go.
Tam beni bloklamasan ben vuracağım lan. Yellow, are you Greek?
Ne dedin? Teçerla.
Ne?
Cevap derim teçerla.
Grenade.
Bomb long.
Deploying flashbang.
Double door.
Throwing a grenade.
Low.
Counter-terrorists win. We're getting stuck right into them.
Siz geçen oyun karşıdaydınız ya. Değil mi?
Evet.
guys, tunnel.
Bomba burada.
Let's be.
Beni izle be.
Sen nerede kalsan?
Ve beni izle bak.
İzleyirim.
Allah Allah. Ölmüyor da.
Sen özün nerede kal?
Ney?
Sen haralsan.
Are we rushing in? Or are we
Ben
going
Türk'üm.
sneaky beaky
Kız
like?
Ukrayna'yı niye sorsan?
Ukrayna'da yaşıyorum.
Aa, nice.
Grenade out! Throwing fire! Incendiary out! Flashbang! Smoke!
One top mid.
Şu şey.
I'm checking tunnel. One top mid.
Right, left.
Bomb.
I don't know where. I know it's top mid.
Long guys. Long.
Geliyor.
They have bomb.
2 tane vuracağım ha. Bir.
Grenade!
Alt HP.
Last serio, man.
Say. Ciao. Bye bye Otto.
Move it! Grenade out! Laying down smoke!
Upper right.
Throwing fire! Incendiary!
He's rushing mid.
Throwing a grenade!
Bomb box.
Throwing smoke!
Short coming.
Short.
Blue, stay with the bomb. One long.
Double low.
Send Molotov inside.
Throwing fire!
They're both Caralho, mano, ninguém sabe jogar esta merda.
Remember, This isn't the killing house anymore. This is real life. Grenade out.
It's long, guys. It's long. It's long, bro.
Rotate A.
Long, long, bro. Long, check, long. Green, you fucking suck, bro. Please don't play this game.
Grenade.
Side.
A side, yes.
How much?
Go, Purple, go. This guy like a bot,
Bomb
man.
has been planted.
This guy, one more side.
Deploying flashbang. Terrorists win.
Why by auto?
Bu kadar işte Marvel, man. Vai ver.
Move it, son. Grenade out.
Caralho, man.
Short, short. Short is A.
Wait.
Side.
Bomb has been planted.
Okay, don't rush.
Move.
Info.
Someone.
Throwing fire.
Stay green. Short, short coming. Two short. Three short. Oh. Ya sana rushlama diyorum.
It's A. That's A.
Bomb has been planted.
One guy TP.
At şu olsun çocuğum ya. Oğlum niye hayır veriyorsunuz?
Foda-se, mano. Não dá pra jogar, mano. GG, mano. A gente tá calado, mano. Foda.
What on?
Me ajuda, caralho! Cara, que burro, mano! Fizemos um gajo aqui a olhar para a parede, mano! Caralho, mano. Que nojo, mano. What the fuck? Last T-base.
Terrorists win.
Não acredito, eles são muito porcos. Com gajos muito porcos.
Let's move out. Throwing a grenade. Grenade. Bomb has been planted. Terrorists win.
Os gajos são muito porcos. Não sei fazer nada, mano.
Go, go, go. Decoys out.
Ah, sério, mano. O que é que este gajo está a fazer, mano? O que é que este gajo, mano? O que é que este gajo, mano?
You're a champion. Let us go. Let's go, my brother.
Sai da frente, cara.
Flashbang. Throwing a flashbang. Grenade.
Mano, a sério, mano.
Throwing smoke. I'm planted. Bomb has been planted. Bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorists win. I'm throwing fire. Throwing a flashbang. Terrorists win. Yes, yes, yes. This is all fine. Flashbang. I'm throwing a flashbang. I'm throwing a grenade. I'm throwing fire. I'm planting the bomb. Throwing fire. Bomb has been planted. Flashbang. Terrorists win. You will cry like babies before you die. Forward. Throwing a flashbang. Grenade. Grenade. Activating the bomb. Flashbang. Bomb has been planted. Bomb has Throwing the flashbang. Throwing fire. Terrorists win. Bomb has been planted. Let's go. Guard. Let's throw the flashbang. Grenade.
Mana sério, mano.
Throwing fire. Counter-terrorists win. Let's go, my brothers. Grenade out. I'm throwing a grenade. Grenade. Throwing a decoy. Throwing a flashbang.
Mana sério, mano. Ninguém ajuda, caralho. Mas, oh, mano, mas gosto muito de falar.
Throwing smoke. Counter-terrorists win. gentlemen, please welcome the new undisputed